points for her to get things started for Tiara Tucker.
9. 1 ball, 1 strike count coming up. Corner steal. A chopper to the third baseman. It just looks like it gets out of reach, but he'll throw on to first. And that is out number 2, but on the play, Halstead will score, and that's the first run for the Tigers as they now cut the lead in half, 2-1.
Sports. What's going on, everybody in the 209 area and everyone are listening across the area? I am JD Jeff Dominic. Thank you all for tuning in. Mark Itleong is fixing a couple things as we get started here. Appreciate y'all tuning in. A special 3-hour edition of 209 Sports Talk as we move aside from the 209 side of things and we get you prepared for the 2016 NFL season, the fantasy football edition. Got a lot to talk about as we get even started. Mark is just finishing up a couple things here as we get kind of ready to go. Couple little, I don't want to say technical errors, but something has kind of altered itself as we got kind of ready and started up here. So we will, as we... Listen, turn it. You are throwing me off, sir. Grab your thing and listen. So anyways, once again, apologize about that little tidbit there, but he turned me back on. It's just like he's on the board again. You know, that's what happens. Well, he saw our camera get dropped around here a little bit too, but 2016 NFL football season is just a few weeks away, so we want to get you prepared as we get ready for the season. We're going to do for your fantasy football lovers. We're going to go over the wide receivers and the defense. See, that's what's going on, Mark. You got that? So here's you know what, we'll even do this. We'll even start you back off with our 209 Sports intro. I don't know what happened, but something has happened since the other day. See, now you don't have my voice at all. So something's cutting half of it off. So I don't know where that's at, but we'll have to check that out here in just a moment. But anyways, so as we get kind of going here, we have plenty to talk about. Wide receivers and defense are the topics of discussion today. Of course, it is a 3-hour show, which means you're probably sitting back going, wait a minute, you guys usually just talk for about 2 hours and then we're pretty much done. Well, at the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to have a little bit of a different kind of feel to everything as we get ready for WWE SummerSlam. We want to kind of go over not only the matches, but also a little bit of the little previews of things that have happened here recently. We've had some suspensions. What does that do for WWE SummerSlam? It does affect one match, but does it affect it to an extent that we are all disappointed about it? So I know Mark may be a little bit disappointed about it because I think he's been looking forward to this wrestler, but we'll see what happens. And you never know. We know she's suspended, so she's not going to be at this pay-per-view, but I'm kind of curious on what may happen here in the near future for her because she's been so... Everyone seems like she feels like she's been so disappointing throughout this season. Or throughout the last couple of years since she's been on a roster. So I'm kind of curious on what the take may be on that. But like I said, that will be at the 9 o'clock hour. Today we'll be going over for fantasy football the defense and special teams, also the wide receivers. A lot of wide receivers, so it's I'm going to put a little bit of a different feel to the wide receivers than what we normally do with the rest of the rosters. Defense will go like normal. We'll kind of just talk about what happened last season. We'll kind of go over what our predictions are a little bit. We'll go over what other people are predicting, and then we'll go through our top 15. Well, at least I will, and Mark will chime in. Excuse me. We'll chime in with anything else additional as we get, as I start to go through my rankings as far as defense goes. Wide receivers, like I said, will probably be a little bit different because we will probably want to, since there's such a plethora of them. Big word, I know. Some people are looking at me like, you're hella dumb. Yeah, hello. I just unplugged a device from my audio jack. You just plugged in a device into your audio jack. There you go, Mark. You got my information there. But plenty of stuff as far as that goes. And, of course, we will kind of get you prepared for what to expect when it comes to that. Wide receivers, you could probably have 3-4 good wide receivers on your roster. As I was telling Mark, we've already kind of set up a couple of different accounts where we can start getting ready for the season. We've already got one with Fox Sports, one with CBSSports.com, one with also what was the third one, Mark? Oh, NFL.com. I know I apologize. You're still trying to figure out everything and see where we're truly at. Do you want me to hit it again? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try and play this one more time for you. Oh, and not even wanting to go. I might have to close this thing down. We're going to close down Radio DJ as we get ready, but like I said, apologize. There's been a few kind of technical glitches. We've been messing with some stuff here recently, trying to get always trying to improve the show, but lots and lots of stuff, and I keep getting a bunch of Snapchats from our good friend Kyle Hauk. I know he's listening at home. Thank you very much. But I'm kind of now. He's got me questioning on whether or not we're broadcasting. It looks like we are, but and I know the audio is still going, so we're good there. Mark wants me to try this one more time. Let's see. Nope. They ain't ready. So whatever's happened here, we've got a little bit of a small glitch, but I don't remember where it's at, dude. I don't know. I don't remember because I had it right where it needed to be. I don't know if it's even one of these two. I want to check because I don't remember it being there though. But anyways, so as we kind of get going, wide receivers, as we said, plethora of them. You could have a Miami second wide receiver and probably be a good flex option. Three different accounts. We are still going to get the ESPN and Yahoo Sports one up and running. Still one more time? Okay. Now I can only hear it one ear. Nope. But anyways, wide receivers are going to be the main topic. I mean, I think we could probably plug a full hour with that. But just going back a little bit, I've already got a concern with one of the quarterbacks that is going to be ranked in the top 5, and that's going to be Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has not looked good throughout this whole preseason. Of course, it's only been a couple games. I don't know how much anybody really looks into that stuff, but Russell Wilson started slow last year too and really came on strong the last part of the year. So if you're looking at a league and you've got Russell Wilson as your option, might not be a bad idea to maybe even have him be more of your one of your starters later on in the year. So it's kind of a hit or miss one with Russell Wilson personally. I think that he could do a lot of things, and he could definitely win you some games. Other news and notes: Le'Veon Bell got moved from a suspension from 4 games to 3 games now, and so you kind of start to wonder, what kind of impact will he have on the draft in the upcoming drafts as you're getting ready for your leagues? I'll get Mark's opinion behind that as well. He's now no longer suspended for 4 games. He got changed to 3. Let's see here. Those are your my biggest opinions when it comes to the upcoming fantasy football draft. If you have anything to add, you can always leave a comment down on the bottom of the comment section. We'll go ahead and get you. If you have any questions, we can try and get you ready to go here as the leagues are really starting to take shape and really take form here for all accounts, all websites. Websites are starting to just completely blow up. I remember I was kind of watching the ESPN as they were getting ready to watching the ESPN websites as they were getting ready to do all the fantasy football drafts, and they were having mock drafts. Nearly they had 600 going at one time, and that number never really dropped from the. I mean, it never really dropped during that any point in the hour. So so it's got over 600 going at one time all the time, pretty much for probably a 24-hour straight. You'll probably be hearing them quite often going. I mean, I think that they'll probably have drafts going at that kind of rate for about, I don't know, probably until just before the day of before the first game that's getting played. So it's. If you don't think fantasy football hasn't taken over, you're completely wrong. It's truly gotten really out of hand, and so it's it's one of those things. If you're a football fan, and especially if you got a team that sucks, like mine, you start to want to find other ways to be entertained with football, and that's pretty much one of them. So as we kind of get going here, we'll get you up to date on anything, any new findings, especially now that we're a couple weeks. Now we're now technically 2 weeks in. I know we're really in the middle of week 2 of preseason. We'll start to get Mark's idea of whether or not he thinks that his thoughts on draft has changed. It's time to start to figure out where does he feel as far as that stuff goes. I know mine has dropped a couple. I mean, I've already kind of given off a couple. Tight ends really haven't changed very much for me. Rob Gronkowski, yeah, you get Tyler Eifert, those guys like that, they're still going to be at your top of your list. Martellus Bennett's looking good during the preseason. Once again, preseason can truly tell you absolutely nothing, is what it really comes down to. You kind of got to go a little bit of gut, a little bit of feeling, a little bit of understanding on what you're trying to accomplish. The ultimate goal, obviously, is to win the game. Dominate your league and come out with a win, and that's what we're here to try and help you do. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, let us know in the comment section. You can also email the show, 209sports209@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on Twitter at 209_sports. Anything you want to get especially if you haven't gotten a heads up or a start onto your or caught up on the shows that we've done for fantasy football. So we're more than happy to try and chime in with anything that you may have a question on. So let's go ahead and step aside. When we come back, more to come right here on 209 Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Black shoes, black belt.
Act against
Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
Ever think of light bulbs as being cool? They are if you choose energy-efficient bulbs and fixtures that have earned the government's Energy Star label. They're so hot, they're cool. Because they burn cool and last up to 10 times longer, you save money and oodles of energy. Change a light, help the environment, save some green. The solution.
In the great scheme of things, a minute isn't all that much. Unless you happen to have a stroke. All of a sudden, those minutes count. Minutes that could mean losing your ability to talk. To walk. Talking, moving, walking, gone. Which is why, if you can get help in time, your stroke can be treated. The warning signs of a stroke include sudden numbness or weakness of the face, sudden trouble seeing, speaking, or understanding.
Points for her. Way to get.
One ball, one strike coming up. Corner steal. A chopper to the third baseman. It just looks like it gets out of reach, but he'll throw on to first. And that is out number 2. But on the play, Halstead will score, and that's the first run for the Tigers as they now cut the lead in half, 2-1.
Sports. Yeah, we are back. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you all for joining back in. We had a little bit of a technical glitch, and that was we're still working with it. There's a little bit of an issue. I apologize, everyone. We are back on. Mr. Mark Itleong is getting things going as we go, and Jesus, you cannot sit in my seat anymore.
Why?
Why is that?
Why?
Well, because first of all, you need to get your mic closer to your face, because I can't hear you.
Why?
There you go.
Why?
Much better.
Why?
So you know why we're all gathered here today on this glorious day of a Friday, August 19th, 2016. A little bit more of a fantasy football discussion, huh, man?
It's actually the 20th. Just kidding.
I was like, wait a minute, no,
I'm just trying to throw you off.
it's been a long day, but you never know. I mean, I don't think it's been that long of a day. But some new things have kind of transpired. The Le'Veon Bell being his suspension going from 3 games to 2. What do you think about that?
You mean 4 games to 3?
4 games to 3. That's what I meant.
Yeah. I mean, if you probably it does make a difference because he saves 1 paycheck.
Right.
But beside that, it's really he's still serving a suspension no matter what. But yeah, for money wise, yeah, I'll say that's good. But what about you? How you feel about that?
Well, it definitely throws me off as far as that goes. I mean, I think it doesn't really change my idea of how do I want to keep it, as far as leagues go. We have 3 set up right now. We've gotten 3 of them out of the way, so we're going to have our work cut out for us on September 2nd, starting at 7 o'clock in the evening. So should be a fun time, though, and I'm getting pretty excited about it, as far as all that stuff goes. But
does the stock change when it comes to drafting him?
Of course. I think so. For Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, so what was it before and what is it now?
For me?
Yeah, well, as you pretty much, I'm asking you like you're the general population.
I think it puts him more of the, let me go ahead and keep him, because, I mean, he missed the first couple of games last year, too. And then he came on real strong from week 3 to what was it when he got hurt? Week 11 or 12, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was probably a great force to have. I would say that anybody that had him, possibly some of them even still picked him up in the first round. I mean, some did, and some profited from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that nothing really changes with him. I think you just have to be very careful on how you pick. If you're putting all your money on one guy like that, you have to be very careful on how you pick anybody else after that point.
So he's still first round? Is he your first rounder?
For me, no. But that's just because I think that I could pick somebody else up that I know can play for me right away. So it's hard for me to go after somebody like that when I know the talent's there. But at the same time, if I'm picking latter in the part of the round, or I know let's say I'm number 10 or 12, depending on if it's a 10-team or 12-team draft, I would say that I would still probably think about it pretty hard. Apologize about that. We had to kind of still get these ready to go here.
You had children in the background?
Yes, I did. I had plenty of children in the background. That's what happens.
You're holding a daycare right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell them to go in your room.
You're dumb.
Hella dumb.
Hella dumb. But if I'm picking like the 10th pick or the 12th pick, if I'm depending on the draft size and everything, team draft size, I would say that you're probably going to still want to pick up around I would probably do that. I'd probably go pick him first or second, depending on how I really want to look at it. And then make sure that my second pick or the pick that I'm picking before that is a good pick, i.e. a wide receiver.
Tom Brady? Well, who would you want to pick since you got Tom Brady serving a 4-game, you got Bell serving a 3-game?
I wouldn't pick either of them, quite honestly. I mean, and that's the thing, though. I picked up Tom Brady last year when everything was all in question on whether or not he was going to be going to even be available that year.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He did a great job for me. I did, I had between him and Cam Newton, I did great. But, I just don't know well, obviously we know the suspensions now.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it even more of an interesting feat that I know for a fact that no matter what, I don't have these 2 players for the first guaranteed 4 weeks of the season. Quarterback-wise, you've got such a wide variety of quarterbacks.
I thought you were crying.
No. You got such a wide... Just because I'm still red, but I'm peeling now, doesn't mean anything. But with the wide variety of different quarterbacks that you have options for, a lot of people are saying that Blake Bortles is going to be a bust this year. I don't think that's going to be necessarily true. I think he's still going to find his struggles. I'm more concerned with, after seeing what I've seen in the preseason, I'm more concerned with Russell Wilson. Threw for an interception. He threw for an interception. Doesn't really have a lot. He doesn't seem like he has his his feet under him. I think is the best way to say it right at the moment.
Well, he's always been like he was like that preseason, and especially the team itself.
And that's what I was saying right before we got all the wiring kind of got a little messed up. I was saying that he's always like that. So is he worth a top 3-round pick? Where your first 3 rounds, you got to have the true playmakers, the Julio Joneses, the Cam Newtons, your running backs that you want to get out of the way. You got to get all those guys out of the way. Is he worth that first 3 rounds?
No, I think
to know that he's going to be that far back. I mean, that he may not be really anybody until like the 5th or 6th week of the season when he gets his legs really going.
No, because that's the typical. For me, when I seen a lot of different mock draft, quarterbacks are really taking on the 4th and after. The first 3 rounds, like you said, the only quarterbacks that'll be taking the first 3 rounds are like a Drew Brees,
The Cam Newton,
the
Aaron Rodgers,
and Tom Brady when he was in suspension. I don't know if that falls now, and I don't know who's probably gonna see Tony Romo go up with the stock with the way his receivers are doing and the running back, how they had the running game now.
That brings up another question. Go ahead and finish your thought. I'm glad you said that. Go ahead and finish up your thought when you were talking about Tony Romo and his increase.
Yeah, so maybe that's the reason, or maybe still no one doesn't believe Tony Romo because they have really seen him in the preseason. It's basically been Dak Prescott, and they see how it is.
Which he's been very impressive over the preseason.
Yeah, so, but 4th and after, Russell Wilson's going to still end up being a quarterback that you want to get, especially if it's a PPR league where he could get you run and a passing yards, even touchdown scores.
Now you brought up, you're really on the Dallas Cowboys. There's no denying the fact you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, which, a good friend of the show is a Dallas Cowboys fan too, and I think you guys both suck. That's okay.
Hella dumb.
You hella dumb, but Ezekiel Elliott, we haven't seen him yet playing a preseason game. Everyone still ranks him in the top 10 in running backs. And Alfred Morris has blown it up this last game against Miami right now. He was tearing it up against that Miami D-line. Do we have concerns that we should not be picking up Ezekiel Elliott as one of the top 10 running backs right now?
No, because he's still a top rookie.
He hasn't played it down. How are we going to consider him a top rookie? Yes, he's playing in the first round.
Wow, that was pretty loud.
I'm sorry. I try to keep it low.
Calm down. Remember, we're in the same room.
Some people don't think we are. But
that's. I mean, they're not going to change it because they haven't seen him. I mean, it's already pre-stock where he's still going to be that top run. Alfred Morris is not going to get selected over Ezekiel Elliott. That's why, I told you when we were talking about running backs, they had to do. It's better if we do handicaps where you get one running back and you draft another running back of the same team. So if it's Ezekiel Elliott, you might want to draft. If it's not Dan McFadden, it's going to be Alfred Morris. Well,
Alfred Morris was tearing it up against Miami today. I know he's out of the game right now. Currently, what's that score? Is it still 27? 41?
41-14.
Where the hell did that come from?
Dak Scott rushed a touchdown. Huh?
Dax Prescott?
Prescott.
Off the hook, man. How impressive has Dax Prescott been this year?
Mess you up already?
Yeah.
He's crazy good.
Yeah, he's going to be... He has the talent to, one, be the possible next heir apparent of Tony Romo.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Jerry Jones, you have to feel comfortable with having a quarterback like that. And if you're in a fantasy football league, you have to at least have your eyes on that guy just in case Tony Romo goes down. I wouldn't say pick him up, obviously.
I mean, but if you have a dynasty type of league,
right,
pick him up because he could save you for down the road, or if you do an auction, or
for those that don't know what dynasty league is, because I'm still fairly new at it. Please explain as best you can what a dynasty league is.
It's you pretty much own it's a team that you're like the general manager. So you after the end of this, when you do a draft day, you're gonna pick up your regular starters, but you want to be smart enough where you want to draft young that because you're gonna end up keeping. It's a keepers league type of thing, so you can keep them, and after the end of the season, and then you could either trade for them for a draft pick. There's some leagues that you could do that, or so there's you don't want to end up drafting a Drew Brees. You want to draft someone like Bortles because he's still young,
or like if you want to get a little bit more, so that way you can play with a little bit more examples, like a Peyton Manning. You wouldn't have wanted him last year for many reasons, but
I mean, if you want him, you can, but then you also want to draft a younger quarterback, rookie or first or second year quarterback.
Right. What about Paxton Lynch? Has he impressed you a little bit? I mean, he's shown some growing pains, but he's also looked pretty good in this last preseason game for the Broncos.
To be honest, I haven't seen really his what you call it? His what you call that?
His game film.
Yeah, his film. I haven't seen really. I just seen the one with Mark Sanchez. So
fair enough. But now, and as far as preseason goes, when do you, for yourself, when you start really looking into fantasy football? Obviously, we started early for us. We kind of started doing a couple shows. We wanted to kind of get ourselves in tune with fantasy football. That's what tonight's all about. We're going to look over the defense, the wide receivers. But this pretty much ends it because we're not going to be on next Friday. We're going to take next Friday off because you've got some prior arrangements, and I'm going to go ahead and go out and take care of some business as well. But when we come back on September 2nd, we're on. We're going to be buckling down. We're going to be putting the chin straps on, and we're going to be drafting for 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a long day.
That's a long day.
And I'm kind of ballparking as far as that goes too, but I roughly said it was probably going to be about 3 hours long. When do you start really looking into where you're ranking your own personal players, like whoever, whether it be quarterback, wide receivers, defensive ends, tight ends, or defense, stuff like that?
I do it before preseason starts, really, but I don't really rank them from 1 to 10, because I already know like the main guys are going to be drafted, so I'm not worried about that.
You know that Julio Jones is going to be a first-round pick. You know that guys like that. It's more
like Odell Beckham, Dez Bryant, you name it. I already know they're going to be selected. I'm looking for sleepers or players that no one really heard of yet as of now, but later on they're going to wait.
Or the chickens like me where I'm like, I don't want a rookie right now, i.e. like Ezekiel Elliott, where I'm kind of, because I haven't seen him, other than what I know he's done in Ohio State, I haven't seen him play in a professional style football game yet. So I'm so concerned. I don't know if I want him. But you, on the other hand, you may go, that's to that. He might be somebody. Okay, I'll put him on the bench, see what he does, because now I've drafted Alfred Morris too, just in case. So if I need to, I'll just get rid of him. He's not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I don't lose a lot.
And the other thing I actually look for, especially if I'm in the league that they already pre-arranged the draft order, if I know I'm gonna be either like the 1, 2, 3, 4, then that's the time I'm pretty much trying to figure out the people ahead of me, thinking who are they gonna draft. If they're gonna end up drafting a wide receiver or a running back, and who's gonna be left at that time. Who do I want to really get? Do I want to go wide receiver or running back? For me, I'm always heavy on the running back, but then I also, if my two running back that I want is already gone, I'm gonna go what I like for wide receiver.
Right.
And everyone knows that's Mr. X himself, Dez Bryant. So, but yeah, if it's that, it's either run back or wide receiver. I don't go for a quarterback or a tight end.
So that's what's going to be interesting, and that's what I was kind of talking about on the day of the draft, because that's, when we get close to our picks, we're going to be talking about what we're looking at, because typically we're not going to give away each other's secrets that we already kind of know we're going to do. So when I think one of them I set up for a 2-minute span, the other ones are a minute and a half for each pick. So we have a minute and a half to kind of talk about what our idea is of next. For a couple people that we know that are going to be involved in these, so it kind of, last year the best defense was the Denver Broncos, And that's not because they were the number 1 defense overall in the NFL. For, in certain categories they weren't, but they were the number 1 scoring defense. So they averaged 7.3 points per game. Arizona was right on their tails with the 115. Kansas City Chiefs right behind them, 114, and then Carolina went to 109. Carolina, I'm a little concerned with. They lost Josh Norman, which I don't know if that's going to be a big deal or not. But they also lost Jared Allen, a defensive end. They've lost a couple of guys to free agency. I don't know if their defense is going to be as strong, but you can't ever say that because they have the big number 59 in there, Luke Kuechly. So we'll see where I've ranked them. We'll see where other teams have ranked them, or players or professionals have ranked them. Philadelphia Eagles were number 5. That was kind of weird to see that one. I didn't really know that stat until I was looking it up, and the Philadelphia Eagles scored 107 points last year for their defense.
They scored or they allowed only?
Fantasy points per game, 6.7. They scored 107 points per game. Now, allowing, that is what it is. But that's what I'm saying, is that they could allow a ton of points, but at the same time, they still scored a lot of points too. So it kind of balanced itself out and then helped itself out at the end.
Yeah, especially if you could get the quarterback, because sacks counts as points, interception, fumbles. Everything, yeah.
Special teams, returns for touchdowns, things like that all count. So, and of course, we can look all the way down, and you know who the last 2 were. Dallas Cowboys are 31st. San Francisco 49ers were 32nd.
Yes.
Yes.
Still better than 9. How you doing?
How you doing?
Got a couple of headers.
You know what? I'm so afraid to even try this stuff now. I don't even know if it's working.
It doesn't matter.